Hello, this is Andrew Tarvin, and for NSA's Laughter Week, I thought I would share with all of you the worst that I ever bombed doing comedy, because I've done over 1,000 shows in all 50 states, 18 countries, and 3 continents, but first time you bomb always sticks with you. It was about the 4th stand-up show that I had ever done, probably about the 20th show total. I started doing improv first. And the show was at the Ohio State University. It was a stand-up comedy competition for students, a semifinal round, so I made it into the semifinals. And for the semifinals, they brought in 3 guest judges. The guest judges were Mark Curry from Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Joe Coy, a very funny comedian, and Daniel Tosh. And this was before Tosh.0, so it was still when Daniel Tosh was big, but not as big as he is now. And for the competition, they had 4 or 5 performers performing. I was one of them. And they put the judges on stage with the performers. So the judges would be here, and then the performer would be here. And it was, like I said, the 4th time I'd ever done stand-up. I had memorized my set word for word. There was 200 people in the audience. It was the first time that my mom and brother and dad were seeing me perform. And I get 3.5 minutes into my set, and I freeze because I can't think of the next word that I was going to say. I had it memorized perfectly, so when I forgot just a handful of words, I forgot it completely. So I stood on stage looking down, just said, "Wow. Sorry. Wow." For 35 seconds. And I have video proof that it was 35 seconds, the longest 35 seconds of my life. And eventually I jumped over some things, stumbled through something, did my set. And the judges were very nice afterwards. They kind of ignored the part. They're like, aside from you freezing, otherwise, this was good, etc. But surprisingly, it was that time bombing that helped me to realize that comedy was something that I could do. Because I realized that that was the worst that could happen. Dave Chappelle talks about the time that he knew that he would be successful in comedy was when he bombed really bad in DC, because he said that, it was terrible, but no one died, right? He wasn't injured. He wasn't physically hurt, and he didn't like the feeling, but he said, if this is the worst that can happen in what I'm doing, that's okay. And so I've had that same mentality and have recognized that that's my bottom, and how do I grow from here? And since then, I've learned not to memorize everything exactly word for word and work from a script, instead to be more extemporaneous and work from a set list. And I've learned to take more risks. And I've also learned, particularly within speaking and using humor, the only time that it's really awkward using humor is when you make it awkward, when you dwell on it. Because if you say a joke that's funny, positive, and inclusive, but no one laughs, and it's not a joke, it just becomes a positive, inclusive statement. So what I'd encourage for people to do if they're trying to use humor a little bit more is to go out there, be confident, to be positive, inclusive with your humor, because that's what's going to make it appropriate. And if no one laughs, you can either joke yourself. Sometimes I say puns that don't get any laughs in any of my presentations, and I say, well, that one was just for me. And other times I just move completely past it and recognize that, even if no one laughs, it's not going to be the end of the world, and it doesn't mean that you'll never be successful as a comedian. So hopefully that story helps a little bit. Hopefully it gives some insight, and hopefully you don't do bombing quite as bad as I did. Anyway, shout out to NSA Laughter Week, to the entire team putting it together. Hopefully you've learned something good. I've been Andrew Tarvin. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you.